This is the Military Meditation Coach podcast, your source for meditation, mindfulness, and relaxation exercises. Made for the military, but good for everyone. I'm Dr. Julie Kinn with the Defense Health Agency, and we have a special treat planned for you. Public Health Service Commander William MacNulty, health promotion psychologist for the 1st Special Forces Group, is sharing several meditations with us. Today is part 1 in this 4-part series, Mindfulness of Breath. I'd like to remind you that the views expressed here are those of the presenters and do not reflect the official policy of the Department of Defense or the United States government. The Military Meditation Coach is produced by the Naval Center for Combat and Operational Stress Control and by the Defense Health Agency. Please let us know what you think. You can send email to us at the address in the show notes. We'd love to get your requests. You can also learn more about us and get in touch on Facebook and Twitter at Military Health. Now on to Commander MacNulty.
Welcome to Awareness of Breath Practice. So for this period of mindfulness practice, it may be helpful to adopt a seated posture, one that is stable and upright, but also easeful. A posture that's relaxed, not rigid, but purposeful. One that expresses our intention to be and to remain present to our experience from moment to moment. And as we do, we can become aware of the sensations of sitting. We may not notice this often, but being seated has its own feel. We can become aware of the sense of contact between our feet and the ground, aware of our legs and our back in contact with the chair. And if you're comfortable doing so, you can allow the eyes to close, or perhaps lower the gaze, so that your gaze is focused softly on the floor or the table in front of you. And then from here, becoming aware of the fact that you're breathing. We're not trying to control the breath in any way, not regulating it or managing it, just observing the experience of the breath, the felt sensations of breathing from moment to moment. Noticing how the breathing unfolds breath by breath quite easily, with no effort from us. It's almost as if we're being breathed, and our role is simply to observe that process with as much depth and precision as possible. Now, you may notice that the breath is more vivid in some parts of the body, maybe the nostrils or the back of the throat or the chest or belly. And if you do, then just moving awareness right up close to that part of the body and observing the changing experience of the breath there at that point from moment to moment. Breathing in, aware that you're breathing in, and breathing out, aware that you're breathing out. After a while, you may discover, if you haven't already, that the mind has a tendency to move away from the breath. Without our even realizing it's happened, we suddenly notice that we're planning for something that'll be happening later in the day, or remembering something that happened a few minutes or a few days ago. Or perhaps our attention has been called away by some other experience in the body, an ache or an itch or what have you. Whenever this occurs, and it will, just noticing that this has happened, noticing where our mind has gone, and then gently but purposefully escorting our attention back to the breath, back to that part of the body wherever we're experiencing the breath most prominently and distinctly. Left on its own, the mind will wander to any number of topics, to events that happened a few days or many, many years ago. Or it might get caught up in worries or anticipating futures that may never come to pass. Whenever this occurs, and wherever the mind may wander, as soon as we notice that this has happened, we're already back. That moment of noticing, it's a moment of mindfulness, a moment of awareness. And with that awareness comes choice. And for this period of practice, anyway, the choice we make is to return our attention to the breath, just escorting awareness back to the breath, wherever it is in its ongoing cycle of flowing into and out of the body. And as we continue with this ongoing process of noticing the wandering mind, and then gently but purposefully escorting awareness back to the breath, we may discover that sometimes it's really quite easy to disengage from whatever pulled our attention away from the breath. And at other times, it's more difficult. We may tell ourselves that, whatever has captured our attention is far more important or pressing or entertaining than simply observing our breath. And in such cases, the instruction is exactly the same. Just noticing that this has occurred, and then gently but purposefully escorting our attention back to the breath. Escorting it back. Not shoving it back or forcing it back, but gently escorting it back. Much like we might accompany a friend when we wanted to ensure that they arrived at their destination safely. If we notice that we are forcing something, kind of making some effort to push the attention back, maybe just asking ourselves if the effort is necessary. Just getting curious about whether or not that force and that exertion of will is helping the awareness return to the breath. And perhaps just seeing if it's possible to let that effort go and then simply bring attention back to the breath. And if, as we're noticing the wandering mind and returning awareness back to the breath, we encounter thoughts about how well we're doing, or the value of the practice, or anything really, we can just notice those two as part of the present moment, as other thoughts that are arising, and just as before, notice and then bring awareness back to the breath. Noticing this breath. And then this one. You may also discover that once our awareness returns to the breath, whatever it was that previously pulled it away may remain in our consciousness. And should that occur, that's fine. We just stay connected with the breath, much like we might maintain visual contact with a friend in a crowded location. Other people come and go, and through it all, we just stay connected. There you are. I see you. And whenever we lose contact, we simply pause, reorient, and there we are, connected once again. Aware of the breath flowing through the body, and aware of the body moving with the breath. Just staying with the breath, just a little while longer. And when you're ready, in the next moment or two, and with an awareness of doing so, opening the eyes or shifting the gaze as we bring this period of practice to a close.